Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, October the 8th, 2024. Before I begin, I want to apologize to you all for yesterday. I completely forgot about Comment Corner. Completely. I have been keeping my 4-month-old grandson and my 6-year-old granddaughter after school. My daughter and her husband are moving into a bigger place. So my contribution to moving is I'll keep the kids while you guys do all that packing and look, right? After the little ones go home, let me tell you something mentally, woo, but I'm going to remember Comment Corner today. Okay. Now let's get to General Hospital. This is a very dull Tuesday. It's not going to be a long recap. Lucky is very upset about, the news that he cannot be a donor. And Liz explained it that he has picked up a parasite in his body. And Lucky's like, well, give me some medicine to kill it. Get rid of it. And she goes, it's not that simple, Lucky. We don't have the kind of time it's going to take to rid your body of the parasite. He goes, but I feel fine. I feel fine. She goes, because your body has adapted to it. She goes, you've been in a lot of third world countries, and I'm sure you've drank the water, or you drank the water. You know, you pick up parasites. She goes, and I'm sure along the way you have been sick. He goes, well, yeah, I mean, here and there, I've gotten sick, but I've always gotten over it. He goes, look, I don't care what the risk is to me. I'm going to save Lulu. And so she goes, no, you have the wrong idea. Your invalid liver or tainted liver would endanger Lulu and possibly kill her. Her immune system is already weakened. There's no way we could introduce anything with the parasite into her body. And he understood that, but he's just very, very upset. And then Rocco comes in, and Rocco was so happy to see his uncle Lucky, because you're going to save my mom and blah, blah, blah. And Lucky had to tell him, I'm sorry. It's not, I can't save your mother. And Rocco's like, wait, what do you mean you can't? He goes, I'm not a viable donor. No, I was told when they bring you home, you are going to save my mother. And Dante comes in, Lucky, and he hugs him. You made it just in time. And Rocco's like, no, he's not going to save mom. And Dante looks like, wait, what? And Lucky says, I'm not a viable donor. And Dante's like, oh. And he goes, you lied to me. You lied to me, Dad. You told me that once they brought back Lucky, he was going to save my mom. The doctor said he was going to save my mom. Everybody is liars around here. So he goes storming off. And Dante's like, Rocco. He tells Lucky, excuse me, Lucky. So he goes running after Rocco. And he catches him in the corridor. And he's saying, look, son, you are right. I should never have said Lucky was going to save your mother. He had not been tested. It's just we all were so hopeful that because he was the best candidate. And at that time, then Sam walks around the corridor. She had come from seeing Alexis. I'll talk about that in a minute. She goes, I heard Elizabeth told me I'm not going to ask you, how are you feeling? She's talking to Rocco. I'm not going to ask you, how are you feeling? Because I can see and I can imagine. What I am going to say is, I am here. Let's just sit down and talk about this. So he looks at her and Dante says, come on, that's a good idea. Just sit down. So Rocco and Sam sit on the bench. Dante's standing, or the little uh, bench that's in the corridor. And they're just talking. And he goes, Rocco, family makes the best, they're the best donors. But families aren't the only donors. And I'm thinking, is Rocco old enough to donate? Because I would think they would test her son, right? They were talking about bringing back Charlotte. Well, we got Rocco right here. So anyway, Sam, Rocco calms down, and they leave that scene. But let's jump back. Sam's visiting Alexis, and Alexis was back to, okay, no, look, you gotta keep a handle on Christina. You've got to keep her mouth closed. I mean, because if she mentions that she's the one that got that gun, nobody knows that. And if she tells Molly, Molly is definitely going to tell Martin. And Sam goes, Mom, I'll try to keep Christina under wraps, but I cannot guarantee what Christina is going to do. She goes, I know, but promise me, she goes, but Mom, you're here and you did not kill Kate. That Christina doesn't want to see you here, neither do I. And Alexis goes, I don't want to be here. But you see how Christina is now? She did not kill Agent Cates. If she were here in Pentonville, she wouldn't be able to handle it mentally. She would not. And Sam's like, yeah, I guess so. So she goes, where are we on finding that gun? When the gun is found, the case against me will go away. It'll be dropped. Sam said the PCPD has not been able to find the gun. I've even gone down. I haven't been able to find the gun. So she goes, we may not find the gun. And Alexis is like, look, they need to keep looking because that gun is down there. So Sam says they're going to be going back down again. Now, I don't know if she exactly said this week, but she said very soon. And I plan on going down again as well. And Alexis says, no, nope. I don't need you going down. Let the PCPD do their job. I need you taking care of your sister. Right? So Sam's like, okay. But look, we all know Sam's going to go down. We all know that. Yikes. Okay. So we have Brennan. He is questioning Anna and Jason. And he's kind of noticing their back and forth because they go through the whole scenario with what happened with Sidwell. And he's just kind of noticing how they are jiving real well together. Now, to me, that's soap opera writing intuition because they weren't handsy. They weren't Google eyeing each other, right? That wasn't happening. They were answering his questions about the undercover operation. So they're done. Jason leaves and he asks Anna, can you stay here? Hang on for a minute. So she stays behind and he says, what's going on between you and Jason Morgan? And she looked at him and she says, what are you talking about? I noticed you two were pretty comfortable with each other. And you two, and so she goes, we were undercover together. I trust Jason with my life. We were partners in this. And we work well together because they even said, look, you had those drones drop the bomb that could have killed us. He goes, I had every faith you guys would get out. Right. So anyway, he goes, okay. He goes, but by you saying you trust him, That's why I want another shot at Jason Morgan. And she says, wait, oh, shot for what? I want him to work for the WSB. She goes, nope, nope, that's not going to happen. No. And he says, why not? She says, Jason just got out from under the FBI's thumb. He is not about to go under the WSB thumb. I have been there, right? You all take people in and spit them out. Me, Robert, Frisco Jones. Remember Frisco Jones? So you were the one that made sure he got removed. We're not going to add, and no, then Brenna says, and Valentine, and he looks at her, right? And she didn't even acknowledge that. He goes, she says, you will not get Jason. That is absolutely not. It's not going to happen. So he's looking at her like, you can't answer for him. But see, Jason already answered him and said no. So Anna leaves, and Anna, of course, goes to the coffee warehouse, and she goes into the room. Jason's working, and she goes, so are we ever going to talk about the kiss? Why would we have to talk about a kiss? We were undercover. I was trying to keep our cover, Anna. So anyway, we'll get to that conversation probably tomorrow. Now, after Sam leaves, Martin comes to talk to Alexis. And he finally gets her to agree that he's gonna try to poke holes in the story of Sonny and Carly getting back together again. See, and to me, they're not playing it right. Like Diane says, oh, it's got to be ongoing. No, no, not really. You know, plenty of people have one night stand, two night stands. And then you realize that this ain't working. Or now we see why it didn't work. All Sonny and Carly have to do, actually, they're just not doing a good job of convincing people they're back together. All they have to do is start having some minor disagreements over the kids, over Donna. Carly wants her to take ballet. Sonny wants her to do soccer. You know, parents, you know, raising kids can definitely bring you at each other's throats. They need to have arguments, but arguments over Donna, because that's completely believable, right? Completely believable. So I'm just like, whatever. So Lucas was having lunch with Carly, and they were getting caught up. Felicia and Mac were there, and Felicia told Mac that she told Holly to go see Robert, and Mac just flew into a tizzy, and he ends up leaving. But before he leaves, Felicia looks, because there's this woman with a dog at the MetroCorp restaurant, and I was thinking, they don't have dogs on General Hospital, right? Not really, not, you know, not every day. You don't see that. They may give an honorary mention to Annabelle II, but that's about it. So I noticed her. I thought, what's she doing? Because I noticed she's watching everything. And Felicia tells Mac, oh, and she says the woman's name. She's a PI. Back when I was really in the PI game, we were rivals. She says, she must be on a case. And Max says, I didn't know the Metro Court allowed dogs here. Felicia goes, oh, she had her dog, and she said the dog's name, certified as a like comfort dog. So she could take her anywhere. So anyway, Mac leaves. How Mac leaves. Felicia gets up. She comes over to Lucas and Carly, and says Lucas, she's glad to see him. She heard he was back in town and blah blah blah. And the camera is still zoning in on this woman who's just deaf, looking at everything over there. And I said, something's up with her. Something's not right. She's not inconspicuous at all, especially with a dog. That makes you notice her, right? So Felicia ends up leaving, and Lucas tells Felicia leaves, and the woman chases Felicia down, when they go to that outside corridor area where people always have conversations and can be overheard. She goes, "Okay, so tell me about Carly Spencer. Ooh, she was with a very handsome hunk of a man." And Felicia looks at her like, "Really?" Now, mind you, Martin, this is what I forgot to say. Martin told Alexis he's hired a private investigator investigating Carly, tailing Carly, to prove that her and Sonny are not back together again. So anyway, um, Felicia goes, no. She goes, well, she is looked pretty cozy with that hunk, and I heard she and Sonny Corinthos were supposed to be back together again. And Felicia looked at her. She goes, so that must be the case you're on, right? And she goes, I can't discuss the case. And Felicia just looked at her. She goes, well, anyway, you're completely wrong. That is Lucas Spencer, Carly Spencer's brother. Ooh, and what a handsome brother he is. Felicia goes, he's gay. And she goes, ah, I'm just, making batting 1,000 today. So anyway, she goes back into the Metro dining room. Felicia leaves. Holly comes in. Her diamond buyer calls her and says, "Nope, deal is off. He's not gonna buy those diamonds. Watch, I bet you Sidwell got a hold of him." So Holly goes over to Carly. Carly, how are you? And Carly looks at her. Holly, how are you? I'm fine. The lady gets up from her table with her dog and slowly slinks over to the bar where Carly and Holly are talking. I mean, obviously in your face, right? And I'm thinking, she's horrible as a PI. So she goes, I just want to borrow get an audience with your man. And Carly says, audience with my man? What are you talking about? Now, mind you, now the lady's up at the bar. Oh, aren't you and Sonny back together again? I just want to have a meeting with Sonny. And Carly just looks at her, and then she looks at the woman who's just fully at the bar, like almost doing this, looking at him talk, right? So she goes, can I help you? And she goes, oh, I'll have another one of these. And she puts her martini glass down. And she's still standing there. And Carly said, I will have my server bring you another one at your table. So the lady slowly is walking away. She's still trying to listen. And Cardi says, listen, Holly, I'm sure she said the name of his restaurant for one, right? She says, I'm sure you can catch him there. He's probably there right now. You know. Now, this is the only day in reality that woman would be able to try to sit in the restaurant at the Metro Court all day watching Carly without Carly getting that, understanding something up with you. What's going on? And you seem to be looking at me the whole time, right? That's stupid. I didn't like that whole little thing. But anyway, that's it. Nothing else happened. Matt comes in to Robert's office. Holly was there. This is before Holly went to the Metro Court. And he pretty much says, I need to talk to him, my brother, about police business. You need to excuse us. And Robert's like, wait, this is my office. You don't come in here and just tell my guest in my office when to leave. And Holly says, I have other business to take care of anyway. So she leaves and he goes, okay, what is so important? And Mac is like, why are you in here with her? Mac was just being Mac, right? And Robert is like, let me tell you something. Get out of my office. He goes, you do not come into my office dictating to me what who I could talk to and what I can and cannot say. And he goes, every time Holly's around, she takes a wrecking ball to your life, your life. And Robert said, my life, my life. But, little brother, I'm happy with the relationship I have with Diane. Okay. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize that. Right. So, still, get out of my office. Come on now. Robert's a grown man, Mac. So anyway, that was it. Let me get to comment corner, comment corner. Let me get my trusty dusty stopwatch to get to 10 minutes. I'm going to go from I think top down this time. That's what I am. I'm on the top down. We have Donna. Donna says, love, 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 Lucky. The chemistry is still there between him and Liz. Tracy is awesome too. And Diane, love it. Yeah. Lucky and Elizabeth do have chemistry still. I am says Robert needs to tell Holly it ain't gonna happen, just like Martin told Lucy. I'm healed. Nope. I don't need closure, and I have no plans on seeing you. I know Martin was very blunt. I am says kids gossip, especially in family settings. I I don't must meant like this Geo is wrong. Violet trusts him. Besides, Geo is trying hard to fit in and be a big brother. Remember, Geo has no siblings. I know, but he's sure acting young. I am says I agree. Alexis is going to go crazy, and we will see flashbacks of how she mistreated Sam. What's true is Christina is Alexis' world, and she doesn't care who she uses or hurts to ensure Christina is okay. Remember, Alexis didn't care about Sam's feelings as a mother, I know, when her baby died and she needed her to donate. I think Sam is a donor because she has been through so much. Maybe Laura will bring Charlotte back and save Lulu or that way, or Ethan. Yes, he's Lucky's son. Nobody's saying anything about Ethan. Sydney says the new Aiden looks to be about 20 years old. I know he does look too old to be Aiden. He looks like Lucas. I don't think he and Lucky should have had the confab in a public hospital where anyone could walk in. I could only assume he'd open up to his father because of his young age, as Lucky mostly hasn't been there for him. Joanne says, I don't understand being gone so long. Why has Lucky not asked about Cameron or Jake and how they're doing? He was their father from the beginning of their lives until things fell apart. I know he didn't say one thing about her other kids. Sarah says, I don't think Violet should have to apologize to the bully unless they both apologize to each other. That kid is not blameless. It wasn't all on Violet. No, I agree with you. Both should have to apologize. And if the other parents don't feel their bully kid should apologize, Violet wouldn't apologize either. That's just the way that is. Sarah, I remember Felicia and Holly were friends back in the day. Felicia would want Holly back with Robert because of the past, not because she doesn't like Diane. Well, the past needs to stay in the past. Felicia always knows Holly never stays. I am says, but she knows it wouldn't be the same thing as same as bringing Frisco back. I know. Sarah says, I enjoy Tracy's advice to Violet. No one does revenge well as Tracy. That is so true. Sarah says, as it stands now, for all the someones in Anna's weekly warnings, the someones need to warn people about Anna. She has loyalty amnesia syndrome right now. Sarah says, who will be jealous when Willow and Drew are exposed? Nina will hate to have her political couple image interrupted. Michael will be deeply hurt and furious. Willow might fall back on her race and occult defense. What can Drew say about his behavior? It was so interesting how yesterday, and I forgot to mention this, they told Wiley about, how Lucas had him for the first year of his life. I kind of thought Wiley was a little too young to tell him that because why? Really, why? But okay. And then Willow was telling Michael when Wiley, they sent him up to get some cookies, how it's because of Michael. He allowed her to be a mother to Wiley, and she'll never forget that. Especially after finding out her son died. Sarah says the crime boss would never say guilty. Let Sonny pay someone to take the guilty plea and the judge will accept it. I mean, look, Sean Butler spent how long in jail covering for Sonny? Jail is just dull on daily soaps. Even FBI seems ready to move on from Jagger's dirty dealings. I'm sure most fans want it solved and move on to another storyline. And then let me see, Sarah, I'm going to go down to someone else's comment before my 10 minutes is up. But great comment, Sarah. Great comment. Alicia says, I have stopped watching General Hospital, but read your reviews, which are so balanced. You must mean listen to my daily recaps. But I must point out something that Diane either has to be appointed by the courts as a GAL, as a gal, or maybe hired by a legal guardian. Oh, yeah. Whomever that was, apparently BLQ and Chase, but this sounds like a hot mess. Well, it was Tracy. Tracy hired Diane on uh, Charlotte's behalf. Uh, Just Kay says, we don't know if Sam can donate. She says she'll get tested, but probably hadn't, but with the Davis girl stuff. But you would have thought Sam would have been one of the first ones. I mean, there's no excuse. How long would it take her to just go and get that test done? Maybe she's a match and dies during the surgery. That's one way of being so tragic, like being killed by Sidwell. Mm, I, I I think the most tragic thing if she drowns trying to get, but see, if she drowns trying to get that gun, Alexis would just never, and Christina would never. They wouldn't recover. But if she died, donate, during the liver transplant surgery, I could see that. P. Merle says, I didn't appreciate Felicia pushing Holly on Robert. She knows he's with Diane. Richard says, agreed. Devette says, I like Robert and Diane together. Holly needs to know when to call it quits. Move on to our next mark and leave him alone. And then Sandy says, Lucky and Aiden had me in tears. That scene was beautifully done. It was perfect. Love Tracy and Violet were cute until the town crier Geo comes in with his latest news. The reunion with Lucas and Michael and family was a little awkward. Wiley was too cute. And then Georgette says, why is Lucas back? I don't know. Because they brought Brad back, right? Because we could do without Lucas. Sandy says to Georgetta, right. And why is Holly back? Yep, she needs to go too. Uh, Chrissy says to Georgetta, because building up to, they're building up the Spencer family. Mm. And Alicia says, we are on the JOB. Recap, lady. No nefarious organ transplants before it's time. That is funny. And then Denzel, your comment says, Tracy calling Diane to go to little Violet school and to threaten and call the legal action definitely was over the top. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. It was the fact, but I did love when Tracy told little Violet that Violet's never uh, is the answer, even though the boy did uh, deserve it for telling Violet that her dad was a alcoholic. No, he said, your dad's a drunk. That's what he said. Your dad is a drunk. Little Violet punched the kid, and she should have, but violence is never the answer though. I like the new Tracy, but I'm ready for the old Tracy to come back. I know Tracy can do something. I really like Tracy, her character as well too. And then Lynn says, hi, Lynn. And Lucy says, hello, GH recap fans. A lot's gone down in Port Chuck. I'm sorry, but I do not see a future for Robin and Holly. Absolutely not, Robert and Holly. Love Tracy teaching Violet French. I like that too. All right, everybody, that is 10 minutes. That is it for Comment Corner. Comment Corner. I'll be back for another daily recap of General Hospital.